So you're always trying to find a way to show emotion and do things off that particular motion, because there's not going to be 1,000 motions. But I think it's just an innovation off the fact that Kyle's always been a high percentage motion guy, as you guys know. To me, that's just, where Kyle is so good with those kinds of things.
The only guy in America who knows more about football than me, it's our very own Greg Cosell.
And, of course, also as he joins us, right? Yep,
We're very humble today as well.
River Island's guest line.
It's close too, Greg, honestly.
This is what happens when I let him talk. We forgot to say that you're joining us on the River Island's guest line.
Yeah.
But and that you have become one of America's foremost handicappers. So we'll be asking you for actually, I guess we can't ask you for a pick this week, Greg.
No, I guess I won't. I won't be doing that this week.
The Niners don't play.
No, they do not, and they're what are they? They're 9-4 now, huh?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that feels like a contender record, Greg.
It is a contender record. They've got. I didn't look at their schedule for the remaining games, but obviously they'll have some division games, so it's going to be a fun time down the stretch, guys. With 5? Let's see, 9-4. That would be 13. I can do math.
Play.
Yeah. They have 4 games left.
Four to play.
They have 4 games left.
One of them is a division game. They will host Seattle, the final game of the year.
And who are the other 3?
So they will host Tennessee, and then they will go on the road to Indy, and then they will host the Chicago Bears.
Oh, so you'd have to assume. And then we'll really talk real stuff. Now we're just, speculating, which is, the fun part, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have to assume they're going to beat Tennessee. So then they've got 3 pretty tough games.
Right. Yeah, and so can't wait to dive in because each one of those have their own sort of idiosyncrasies, especially the Bears.
Yep.
They're sitting at the 1 seed, but a lot of people don't think they're the best team and whatnot. But before we get so ahead of ourselves, let's go back to Cleveland. And I would sort of love – and maybe this is easy. I know you get tired of the Purdy stuff, but coming off of a 3-interception game and then coming into a game where there was bad weather and a really good front, his decision-making, I thought, was different and really good. But what did you see from his play taking all that into account?
Well, he's obviously the best quarterback to ever play the game, don't you think?
Facts.
Cut that. And that's what I'm talking about. There you go, Greg.
Well, it's funny because, on Sunday, to be honest with you guys, I watch the Red Zone. Sunday is my day where I actually just enjoy football. So I'm not just watching one game. I just let it roll over me. I enjoy it, because I kind of work a few hours during the week. So Sunday is just kind of let me watch some football and be a normal human being. So, I don't see every single play, obviously. So when I put the tape on and I see the first play of the game, I just thought to myself, well, that's just Kyle Shanahan. And I don't know if you guys remember the first play of the game where he had Juszczyk for 23 yards. I mean, that was so classic Shanahan, the way they have this new thing, and I have to find out what it's called. I don't know what they call it, where Juszczyk is kind of in an angle alignment and he goes in motion and they do multiple things off of that. He has multiple motion concepts and they do multiple things. It's become a staple of their offense. I'm sure you guys know what I mean. You can visualize it.
Yep.
But this time on that play, he released inside of Kittle to the closed boundary, and he ran a corner route. I mean, there's no way, and Jim Schwartz is absolutely one of the best who's been doing it for years and years and years, as you guys know, as a D coordinator in this league. But there's no way that he anticipated that was going to be the first call of the game. No way. And Purdy off play action boot hit Juszczyk for 23 yards, and it just made the game right off the bat feel like, oh, this could be an interesting game, and to me that's just where Kyle is so good with those kinds of things.
And even all the teams that now emulate Shanahan's motion, they have come up with that now, Greg, which is kind of what you talked about, the angle motion where he's almost 45 degrees to the line of scrimmage, and he'll either come inside and help the tackle or he'll go outside and help the tight end, or in this case, he'll kind of wiggle out. Has Shanahan really innovated even more off of his crazy motion now that teams are starting to copy him?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a slight innovation for sure. I'm not one who ever uses the word revolutionize. I don't use that word, but I think it's just an innovation off the fact that Kyle's always been a high percentage motion guy, as you guys know. He's believed that, just like Sean McVay believes in high percentage motion. More and more teams obviously use motion now than ever before for multiple reasons. So you're always trying to find a way to show emotion and do things off that particular motion, because there's not going to be 1,000 motions. So what you have to do is try to figure out what you can do off motions, maybe a little tweak, like what we're just talking about. Like I said, I wish I knew what they called it, but I think people can visualize that Juszczyk kind of lines up. It's almost like a wing alignment, but he's angled, and then he does multiple things. In the pass game, in the run game, they do a lot of different things off of it, and I'm sure teams that the Niners will play will study this in detail and see if they can find some kind of tell, some kind of indicator. But, obviously I'm not studying the way a defensive team in the league will, where they have 6 guys who are going through this. And I'm just, one little lonely guy watching this, but it's pretty cool.
Greg, I don't even know how to ask this question, because you're so good with regard to like the way the X's and O's come together. Are there X's and O's in special teams? Because the Niners went. Yeah, they went.
You're asking me about something I truly don't know about.
Well, that's why
there are though.
Yeah, that's why. How did they go from the worst special teams team in the league to the best?
Yeah. That I can't answer. I'm just being honest. But years and years ago, I'm going back 15 years, maybe longer. One of the best special teams coordinators in the league for years, a guy named Bobby April. I think his son is a coach. And he came and spent a day with me. And this goes back a long time, so I certainly don't remember all the details. He walked through a lot of things with me. And obviously that it has advanced in 15 years, just like everything has advanced. But yes, special teams is tactical just like everything else. Nothing in this league is done on a whim. I know a lot of fans, when teams don't do well, they don't realize. I've been fortunate in my career, guys, that I've been able to go to training camps. Coaches have allowed me to sit in meetings. So I see all the details. And boy, is it detailed. That's the thing that always resonates with me when I sit in meetings. And obviously, I've been watching coaching tape. I think we got the coaching tape in 1991. So I've been watching coaching tape since then. And I keep learning and learning and learning. You're always learning. But nothing is done on a whim. Everything is detailed. Now, does that mean it's executed properly all the time? Of course not. I remember Merrill Hodge, who I worked with for years and years, one of my best friends, would always say coaches have all the power but no control, because you can coach it and coach it and coach it, but then the players have to go out and do it. You can't do it for them. So, but everything is coached. There's nothing that is, just left to, hey, I always use this example with quarterbacks, particularly the quarterbacks that are movement guys and make a lot of plays outside of structure. Still, practice is not, hey, they don't roll the ball out and say, let's run around and make a play today. That's, I'm sure you guys have been able over the years to see some 49ers, practices and all that. Everything is detailed. And I'm sure when it's not done right, Kyle lets the people know who are not doing it right that, hey, that's really not the way you want it done.
Yeah, and for Cleveland, you've got Cordy catching a kickoff out of bounds, and then Larvandian muffs a punt. So I don't know if that's
yeah.
I'm sure.
And you know what, the muffed punt. I saw that play live. Because obviously red zone shows plays like that.
Right.
It's a turnover. What as a coach, what are you going to do there? And then people say things like, "Well, it's bad coaching," because they made a mistake on special teams. And I understand, as in every profession, some guys are, coaches are better than others. It's like any profession. But, when a guy drops a punt like that, I don't, and that was deep in his own territory too. I think they were already in the red zone when he muffed the punt, if I'm not mistaken. So, what do you say? Is that Kevin Stefanski's fault?
Yeah, I think that he coached him to actually catch the ball. So I'm going to put
probably. My guess is they probably did that when they were working on that.
Yeah, and that's great analysis by you.
Didn't coach him hard enough, obviously.
No, apparently not. I do want to take you back to the previous touchdown where Brock Purdy, and you already praised him as the best quarterback ever, but the read option, walk me through the read option play, 3rd and goal from the 2, felt to me like 99% of the time he would give that, but he didn't. What did you see that he saw, Greg?
Oh, you mean that you're talking about the 2-yard touchdown on 3rd and goal late in the 3rd quarter, right?
Correct, yes.
Yeah. That was just your basic zone read. They don't do that very often. And how many times, the one thing I can't remember was McCaffrey in the game or Robinson, but it doesn't matter.
It was McCaffrey.
The point is, It was McCaffrey, yeah, because I know Robinson did play some meaningful snaps in this game. So we know that McCaffrey, I mean, he's a touchdown machine, so he gets the ball in those situations. So it was a great call because the first two plays, I believe, they didn't go anywhere. And then we saw that the linebacker, Diabate, I believe it was, he crashed inside off the edge really hard. He's looking to tackle McCaffrey and make a hero play, and Purdy just kept it. And you know what? You could have walked into the end zone on that one. It was so good. So it was just another really good call. And by the way, I thought the Jennings 7-yard touchdown too was a great example of just using motion, and that was also a third down play, by the way, and that's so critical. I'm not saying anything profound to say that you've got to score touchdowns in the red zone, but there's ways to do that. And I've never been a believer, and they don't have those kinds of receivers. I've never been a believer, in the fade ball, throwing it up. So you've got to scheme it. And I thought that obviously the Purdy 2-yard touchdown and the Jennings 7-yard TD were just beautifully schemed plays.